Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrabhyo Vamsha Rishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashikritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibheda Vibhagine Vyomavatyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Devaah Bhadram Pasye Makshabhir Yajatraah Sthirairangai Stuštuvagum Sastanudih Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuh Swasti na Indro Vriddashravah Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedah Swasti nastaksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspati Dadadu Om Shanti 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 Prajnam Shupradhanai Sthirajaranikarai Vyapidil Vyapyalokan Bhuktva Bhogan Savishtan Punaradidishanot Bhasitan Kamajanyan Pitva Sarvan Visheshan Swapiti Madhurabhum Mayaya Bhojayanno Maya Sankhya Turiyam Paramamrudamajam Brahma Yattannatosmi Yo Vishwatma Vidija Vishayan Prasya Bhogan Stavishtan Paschaschanyan Swamiti Vibhavan Jodishasrena Sukshman Sarvanedan Punaravishanai Swatmani Stapayitva Chitva Sarvan Visheshan Vigada Gunaganai Patvasau Natturiyaha. The Mandukya Upanishad mantras are like this. Om ityetadaksharamidam sarvam tasyopavyakhyanam bhutam bhavishyati sarvam omkara eva yachanyat trikaladhitam tadapi omkara eva sarvam hyetad brahma ayamatma brahma soyamatma chatushpat jagaridastano bahiprasnyaha saptanga ekona vimshati mukha stulabhu vaishwanara pradama padaha Swapnasthano Antaprajna Saptanka Ekona Vimshiti Mukha Sviviktabhuk Taijaso Dvidiya Padaha Yatra Supto Nakanjana Kamam Kamayate Nakanjana Swapnam Pasyati Tat Sushuptam Sushuptasthana Eki Bhutaha Prajnanagana Eva Manandamayo Anandabhuk Tejo Mukha Prajna Strutiya Padaha Yesha Sarveshwara Yesha Sarvajna Yesha Antaryami Yesha Yonihi Sarvasya Prabhavapyavuhi Bhutanam Nanda Prajnam na Bahi Prajnam no Veda Prajnam na Prajnanaganam na Prajnam na Prajnam Adrishyam Avyavaharyam Adgrahim Alakshanam Achintyam Avyavadesham Ekatma Pratyasaram Prapanchopashamam Shantam Shivam Advaitam Chaturtam Manyante Sa Atma Sa Vijneyaha Soyamatma Adyaksharam Omkara Adimatram Pada Matra Matrasya Pada Akara Ukara Makara Iti Jagaridastano Vaishwanara Akara Pratama Matra Apte Adimatvadvad Apnodi Havai Sarvan Kaman Adischa Bhavati Yayevam Veda Swapnasthana Taijasa Ukaro Ditiya Matra Utkarshad Upayatvatva Utkarshadi Havai Jnana Santatim Samanascha Bhavati Na Asya Brahmavik Kule Bhavati Yayevam Veda Sushuptasthana Prajno Makara Strutiya Matra Mitera Viterva Minodi Havai Ivam Sarvam Sarv Atidischa Bhavati Yayevam Veda Amatras Chaturto Avyavaharyah Prapanchopashama Shivo Advaitam Evam Omkara Atmaiva Samvisati Atmana Atmanam Yayevam Veda Om Tat Sat. Like all the earlier series of classes we had, the Mandukya Upanishad and the Karika continues here. We are into the 61st Karika on the 4th chapter. Now 61st to 71 is a comparison between dream and waking in order to bring the similarity between the dream experience, the dreamer, and the waking experience and the waker. This process or prakriya is very important for the mananam and which leads to a nididhyasana. Some of the aspects which will be explained may be shaking the very foundation of our understanding or our basic acceptance of the world as a reality. So don't be confused about it. You have to look the entire instruction of this 10 mantras or 10 karikas from the Sakshi point of view, not from the individualized dreamer or the waker. Then only you can see the totality of the picture. So it is mandatory that shift your identity from the individualized ego or the mind or the dreamer or the waker to the Sakshi, as if when you are able to see the happenings of waking, dream and deep sleep independent of you undergoing any change. That aspect has to be the place where you have to locate yourself to understand these 10 verses, which are by themselves are very important, but it will help you to do the mananam or the mental repetition of the process in which the reality of the waking and the dream is being compared. Otherwise, the problem will come is that we will be always associated with the waker and the waking experiences, and then never able to get out of the waker and the waking experiences. Unless you take a stand to look at the waking and the waker experience as same as how you can do for the dreamer and the dream experience, these 10 karikas will not make a sense. You may feel that they are not practical. So having said this, in the last class, the last verse, which was on the 60, we said that na ajeshu sarvadharmeshu shashvadashvadadhima amidha yatra varnana vartande vivekas tatra na uchyate. In the case of all those entities, dharma, sarvadharmeshu, which are unborn Brahman, the word permanent and impermanent cannot be applied, because when it is unborn, there is no question of permanency or impermanency which is not in any way undergoing any change, and that cannot be applied. Ajeshu sarva dharmeshu shashvadashvada midha na yatra varnana vartande. So that word varna is the nomenclatures which we use for saying the shashvata and ashashvata, means permanent, impermanent, transitory, eternal, vyavahara and paramarthika. All these type of duality of the words and concepts are no place in the paramartha. In that, the distinction cannot be maintained, and with regard to the entity where words do not function. From the Brahmi sthiti or from the Sakshi sthiti, the Sakshi is never born. The Sakshi is never going through any changes of, impermanency or this thing. Whether from the Ekatma Pratyasaram point of view, you should understand that no nomenclature, no definitions, no nama, rupa or anything is applicable in that case. Now, how do we know this? Nomenclature is not applicable. We should know this only by negating the known ones or assessing the known ones with whether there is any reality for them or not. So to explain that, Gaudapada is comparing between Swapna and Jagrat in the following Karikas. Here the word Chittam is used in place of Manaha. Because in the earlier Karikas, the second and third chapter, he has used the word mana. In this Karika, he is using Chittam to mainly because he is continuing the discussion with the Buddha as the Buddhists as the listeners were. He in the earlier class last Wednesday, I said that Samvriti and all those words which are used are, and even the Alathasanthi Prakaranam, he has taken an example of the Karika only, Madhyamika Karika, or Buddhistic example only. He could have easily taken any other example like Rajju Sarpa, the rope and snake, or the Tanu Purusha, post and lamp, etc., which he didn't take. So here, to maintain the understanding for the people on the Vijnanavadins, he is continuing the word Chittam, which you should, when you hear Chittam, he is mentioning Mano, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chittam. These four aspects of any one of the word can indicate the same Andakarana, or the inner instrument with which cognition is taking place. So whether you call it as a mind, intellect, or memory, or the ego in the sense, not the egoism, the individual self. So all these things are experienced and assimilated as the internal organ Andakarana. So whether you use manam or chitta, manas or chitta, it indicates the same internal faculty of cognition. So in the 61st Karika he says, Yada sopne dvayabhasam chittam chalati mayaya, tada jagrad dvayabhasam chittam chalati mayaya. And the 62nd, which is to be read along with the 61, so I am reading the 62 also, and I will explain both together. Advayam cha dvayabhasam chittam sopne na samshayaha, advayam cha dvayabhasam tada jagrat na samshayaha. So I am repeating 61 and 62 together. Yada sopne dvayabhasam chittam jalati mayaya, tada jagrad dvayabhasam chittam jalati mayaya, advayam cha dvayabhasam chittam sopne na samshayaha, advayam cha dvayabhasam tada jagrad na samshayaha. So, in the prose order, if I have to say that, Yada chittam sopne dvayabhasam means Yada, just as chittam, the mind or the chittam, sopne, in the dream, mayaya dvayabhasam, due to the ignorance, or due to the delusion, or the misapprehension, dvayabhasam, as if there is duality existing in the sopna. Chalati, when it is in motion, that is chittam chalati. You have to take it as a chittam chalati. Sopne mayaya dvayabhasam bhavati. So when the cognition or the internal instrument of cognition, andakarana, is in a motion, it is feeling the duality due to ignorance. Tata Jagrat chittam mayaya dvayabhasam charati. Exactly as what is happening in the dream, if you, from the standpoint of from the Sakshi point of view, you can see that both dreamer and the dream world, the waker and the waking world, are identical in all aspects. When you are identifying with, when the Sakshi forgets himself and identifies as a dreamer, the world of dream is entirely real. The objects are real, the senses are real, the thoughts are there, the experiences are real. Even inside that there are delusions and which are not explainable, like the elephant can fly with wings, or a fish can come and talk to you. All those type of illusions are also there in the dream. There you don't see when you were born, and you do not know what is your death also. So what we are experiencing in the dream is an experiential period which is retained in the experiential level and remembered as a memory. Now when you come to the waking, in the waking also, if as an individual we do not remember our birth, we only remember it as if told by somebody else after some time that this is your childhood photograph, this is how you looked when you were born, etc., etc. We take it as real and we accept it. I am not saying it is not real for the waker. For the waker it appears to be real. But as the experience is concerned, the experiences of the waking world is from what is being experienced only during that awareness of the body used for the waking. The mind, chittam chalati mayaya, there also it is the same mind under the influence of maya or the delusion or the ignorance is what is happening in the experience. So all the experiences of the waking world is experienced in the mind. The projection that there is a world external by the waker is exactly like how the dreamer projects the world of the dream external to him. The dreamer's world is real for him when he was dreaming. He can fall from a cliff and get hurt, or he can be attacked by somebody or animal and can get wounded. He can feel the hunger, thirst, the sunburn. All the experiences of the dream are real for the dreamer. And the object or the world of dream is external to the dreamer. He doesn't seem to be not knowing the unreality of the dream when he was dreaming. Only when he is coming to the waker, when he remembers the moment in the memory, what is being remembered as a part of the dream, he doesn't remember the full experiences of the dream. Only part of the dream he remembers. And that he negates, saying that that is not now available, therefore it is negated, not because he didn't experience it. The experience of what he knows that the dream, as a dreamer, the experiencing of dream is real for the dreamer, which we also I agree with that, and we are negating the dream as invalid or a delusion or not a reality from the point of view that they are not available now. Had the dream thing available now, we will not be able to negate like how we are negating the dream now. So when the dream, the chittam or the mind took up the body of the dreamer and projected the world of not the dreamer is projecting, please understand that. Dreamer is a part of the dream, so he cannot project the world. He is part of the dream world, and therefore his world of the dream and dream objects are real for him because he is part of the dream. But who created the dream and the dream world and the dreamer? Chittam jalati. It is the vibration, or it is the motion, or the spandanam, or the the thoughts, or even the what you call the vibration of the mind. When I say vibration, people will get into different ideas. Vibration doesn't mean any vibration or any spandanam or anything like that. It is just the flow of thoughts or flow of awareness. I would say, put it that way better. Because the flow of awareness, when it is happening, we create the world for the dream world and the dreamer in it. The same chittam is the one which is projecting the waker and the waking world. There is no separate waking world without the waker. Because the moment the waker goes inactive, the waking world also is gone. The example is Sushupti. And even in the dream, the waking world is not there. So what it is that it gets negated by the other experience. That means both are being a pulsation, flow, or vibration of the mental thoughts, experiences. When I say thoughts, don't take it as the thought of an object. It is the thought itself is the experience, or a thought is the moment of awareness that I am talking about. So, if you compare that, even in the just as in the waking, we do not have the knowledge of our birth experience, or we do not know the death experience of the waker, and even the experience that there is a continuity in the time, that I am seeing the same people whom I saw yesterday, because yesterday and today is again a concept created by the waker. Really speaking, the yesterday today is a transactional reality taken up by the waker for the purpose of the transaction. Technically speaking also, there is no day and night, there is no yesterday today. Time is a continuous flow. What you say yesterday and today is reference to this very moment. This moment keeps moving, so what is tomorrow will become today and now, and will move into yesterday. So it is a convenience with which the transaction is being done. Therefore, we call it as a day and night, or no, not only day and night, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. The three kala, all the three time, and the time is a mental concept, which we all know that. The speed at which time gets moved when we are in a delay, when we are in expectation, are varying in nature. And what time sitting in the same place, two people can experience time in a two different, continuum. One, if a person is waiting for his beloved and she is not yet arrived, or he is not yet arrived, for him time doesn't move. Whereas the other person who is there, who want to finish his tea and catch a train or a flight, for him the time speed is different from that. I know that the person who sits with a beloved one, time is he wants the time to be stagnant. For the other man, he wants to move that. So these experiences based time is what we are calling it as time. And yesterday, today, tomorrow is in reality, there is a continuous flow of time as a measure, but what we call it as yesterday, today and tomorrow is a reference to this very moment of experience. This moment also is a concept of the waker. The same thing is happening in the dream also. In the dream also we had the past, present and future. But those experiences we are ready to negate, but we are not ready to negate our waking. Therefore, Chittam, this Dvayabhasam in Jagrat, Dvayabhasam means the duality concept of the waker and the dream are absolutely identical in nature. Tada, therefore, Jagrat Chittam Advayam. Therefore, Jagrat Chittam, the mind of the Jagrat, Advayam Dvayabhasam cha. It is both Advayam and Dvayam. So there is Advayam when it is in the pure in the state of the mind, but the time is not mentioned or duality is not being, because we are able to negate these things because of the logic available though in the waking and only. Now if you really look at, is it not dream and deep sleep an experience of the waker? Only the waker say I dreamt, and he says I had a deep sleep. Now both the deep sleep and the dream are again projections of the waker for his absence from the waking experience. So there is only one awareness or one chittam which is projecting, giving the reality to the world of waking and the waker in the waking world. That chittam alone is saying that the absence of the waking, and when he had the different set of experiences, he named it as dream because he was not present in the waking. Same way, the same chittam which projected the waking, when he did not have the waking experience and the dream experiences, he had an absence of experience, so he calls it as a deep sleep. Now really speaking, the deep sleep dream and the waking is, from the Sakshi point of view, is one and only one Chittam or mind is the one which is acknowledging and experiencing and calling it as by different names based on the type of experience. So from the point of view of the experience point of view, how can there be a difference between the three? The three are identical because it is the one awareness or one Chittam when in the mind or the Chittam which is having awareness of the waking world, having the awareness of the dream world, having awareness of the deep sleep world in reference to the waking experience, because all these references are from the point of view the experience of the waker. So therefore one should understand that the statement which is there in the second verse has got to be understood very clearly. Advayam cha dvayabhasam chitte swapnam na samshayaha, swapnen samshayaha, advayam cha dvayabhasam tada jagrat na samshayaha. So identical what swapna and jagrat is what Gaudapada is saying. There is no samshaya. Absolutely there cannot be any doubt if you really analyze it. If you have not understood means you are still having doubt, means you have not understood the analysis which we are talking about, how these are not in reality independent experiences. All the three are from the common point of view, one Chittam only, which experiences these three aspects of waking, dream and deep sleep. So from that point of view, we should understand that there is this delusion, Mayaya. That word is the one which is important for us to understand. Mayaya Chittam Chalati. So when that Maya takes over, Maya here means Agrahanam, or not understanding the reality of the Chittam. The Chittam is the Sakshi. When it forgets its Sakshi Bhava, it associates with the waker, it associates with the dreamer, it associates with the deep sleep, and it is the one entity which goes through the three experiences of waking, dream and deep sleep. And from that point of view, you should understand that there should not be any separate reality for waking, separate reality for deep sleep. Deep sleep is something which we are not transacting, so we are not much worried about it. But the transactions of waking and dream, we are ready to negate the dream but not ready to negate the waking. But Gaudapada says that na samshayaha, there is no doubt that waking and dream are absolutely identical. Then the 63 and 64 verse, again you will have to take it in together because they are one after the other, the same theme is being explained. Swapnadrit pracharan swapne dikshu vai dashasu stitan andajan svejanan jnava api jivan pasyati yan sada. Swapnadrit chittadrisya tena vidyade tataha pratak tata tat drishyamay vedam Swapnadrit Chittam Ishyate. That is, Swapnadik Swapne Pracharan Dashasu Dikshu Sthitan Andajan Svedajan Va Api Yan Jivan Pasyati Sata. Same way, Swapnadrit Chittadrisya Te Tata Pratak Na Didyade Tata Idam Swapnadrit Chittam Drishyatam Tad Drishyatam Eva Ishyate. Now he is saying that moving about in the dream, the dreamer constantly sees various things and born as the different creations in the dream world. Those who are like born out of eggs, born out of moisture, like the cream, the insects and everything. The Jarajam, there are different types of creation. Birth which is being explained in the Shastra. Born out of womb, born out of eggs, born out of sweat, like that. Andajam, Jayajam, Jarajam, Udbijam, like the seeds which are bursting itself and coming as a sprout. So these are the different type of experience, type of birth which is being explained in the Shastra. So the dreamer While experiencing the dream, he is seeing the birds, the snakes, the trees, and the human beings, animals, everything, because all of them are born. But you may see their birth and their creations and everything, but you don't see your own birth. You do not know your own birth, how it happened and when it happened, what is the constitution of your body. That nothing is known that at that time. And in all 10 quarters, when he is meant, Desha Dishishu, all the 8 directions, the north, east, south, west, and the intermediary, there are 4 more, so 8, top and bottom. So all 10 directions he is seeing, that means he is seeing the world with entire creation in all 10 ways. Those beings which are objects of the dreamer's mind do not exist apart from his mind, in his mind, in the sense that the dreamer is experiencing in the dreamer's mind the experiences. Very, very, very careful. Please keep it in mind. The experiences are in the dreamer's mind, but he is feeling the externality of the objects as a reality while dreaming. Same way, the mind of the waker also, you should understand that all our experiences are in our mind, but we feel the world of objects are outside there as real. So what happens is that when these objects are being perceived as real and born, having birth, death and decay, he assumes that I also have a birth and death and decay, because he is associating with his body of experiences. And then he says that these are the objects which have got birth and death, therefore I am also having body, therefore I should be also having birth and death. This association of the experiencer with the body is what the dreamer experiences through his body as the dreamer body. They are nothing but the experiences are not on the body. Please understand. The body has no experiences. The experiences are acknowledged and cognized and recorded and reacted in the mind or the chittam or the mind of the dreamer. And apart from that mind, if you assuming the dreamer goes to sleep in the dream, his dream world collapses. He doesn't have the dream world. Or he drops this world and he transfers to another world where he is at different experiences. What happened to the earlier world and everything, they are not there because it was there in his dreamer's mind. Same way, similarly, the mind of the dreamer is accepted to be the object of that dreamer only. This is why we have to understand that it is the experiences are projections of the mind, whether you call it as a waker or a dreamer, the experiences and the reality of the experiences are only accorded in the mind. Now he talks about having explained the dream thing, now he is going to the waking side. Charan jagaride jagrat dishusu devai dashasu sthitan andajan swedajan va api jivan pashyati yan sada jagrat chitta ikshaniya tena vidyade tada pratak tada tadrishyam eva idam jagrat tat chittam ishyate. Same thing is repeated, everything absolutely the same, only he has replaced the swapnam with the jagrat. The entire description of the dream is being repeated here. In the waking state, we are feeling we are moving around and we are seeing all the objects like what are the born out of eggs and like the insects, tree, mountain, animals, and the born out of birds, and everything, the chara acharam, both moving and sentient and insentient. Everything in all the 10 quarters means surrounding his experience. The 10 quarters is important because he is surrounded by them and he is inside that. That is why the 10 quarters have got an importance. Same way the dreamer, when he was experiencing, the entire world was around him and he was inside that world. Are we not doing this? Are we not experiencing the same? The world is around us and we are experiencing the waking world. But what is the experience of the waking world that will really happen? Is it happening externally or is it happening in the mind? So Gaudapada says, the mind of the waker is accepted to be the object or object for the waker only. And it is only the waker, the one who is awake, he is one who is projecting even his friends and shared response, shared reality, the world, outside everything. All of them will vanish when his mind is in operation. So when things will vanish and without being there, when he went to dream, it was not there. When he went to deep sleep, both dream and waking had gone. So where was this world existing, or where is this world existing for us right now, this very moment? This experience of this world around us in all 10 directions, we are inside. That is an experience is created by the mind only. The mind means the mind as an awareness, as an instrument of which has the awareness as its own nature, is aware of everything. And when Maya, when we do not know the reality of that awareness, which has the projection capability or the movement capability or spandana capability, we do not know that aspect to know that these things are existing in my mind. My mind means not the mind of the waker who is inside the tent in the direction of the world. It is the projection potency given to the waker's mind. And it is in the waker's mind, all the world is experience of the waking is residing and being executed and experienced. Similar to the dream world. Now on to the 67th Karika. He says that Ubehi anyoan drishye tam kim tadasti iti uchyate lakshana shunyam ubhayam tanmate na eva grihyate. Both of them are indeed mutually perceived. Does either of them exist? No. When one negates the other, the reality of the other is vanished. The waker is vanishing when the Chittam projects his dream experience and the dream world. The dream world is negated and the waking world is experienced when the waking world is projected. Both are negated and vanished when he removes both the attachment toward the waker and the dreamer, and it is in its own, without any projection, Amani Bhav. So both of them are indefinable from the point of view how these are all happening, Maya. Because of this, each one is to be grasped that motion of the other only. That is, the waker and the dreamer cannot be taken as the reality here, because one negates the other. Now the three Karikas, which are 68, 69 and 70, has to be read together, because here he is using every word identical between the 68, 69 and 70, except for Swapna Maya, Maya Maya, Nirmitaka. These are the second word of each Karika is the only one which is changing. Rest of the states are, everything is the same. So we have to understand these three words in totality. Yada Swapnamaya Jivo Jayate Mriyate Apicha Tada Jivo Ami Sarve Bhavanti Nan Bhavanticha. Yada Maya Maya Jivo Jayate Mriyate Apicha Tada Jiva Ami Sarve Bhavanti Na Bhavanticha. Yada Nirmittakaha Jivaha Jivo Jayate Mriyate Cha tada jiva ami sarve bhavanti na bhavanti cha. Now, this aspect is what is saying. All the jivas appear and disappear as a dream. So, what does the first word say? Swapnamaya, Swapnamaya, Swapnapramaya. Swapnamaya. Swapnamaya means as engrossed or completely in the dream. So, the jiva appears and disappears in the dream is one aspect. And all that dreamer's experiences are all the jivas of the dreamer experience. Then there is this, all jivas appear and disappear just as illusionary jiva appears and disappears. That is Maya. Because when we are in the waking, the world of dream and the dream experiences, we call it as illusory, and illusory because they are not existing now. The dreamer, everything real, but from the waker's point of view, it is Maya. Then all the jivas appear and disappear as materialized jiva and deepest nirnimittaka means they are appearing to be real when the dreamer is experiencing them. So we have to understand that it is the methodology with which we give valuation or evaluate the experiences. We call it as either dream or delusion or whether it is real. It is immaterial what way you call. It is all nothing but the same mind which is projecting the three. Whether you call it as a dream, whether you call it as delusion, whether you call it as real for the waking, there are absolutely no difference between the three is what Gaudapada is saying. Nakinchit jayade jiva sambhavo asya na vidyate edat tat uttamam satyam nakinchit jayate. Nakinchit jayate jiva. Nakinchit jayate jiva. Never has there been a birth of a jiva. Now he is establishing the Ajada here again. Na kanchi jayate jiva. Sambhava asya na vidyate. There is no way it can take place. Because if it has to take place, jiva to take birth and to be available, it has to be a reality which should not be negated. No, that is not happening because each one is negating the other one. So the waker was negated in the dream, the dreamer was negated in the dream waking and the deep sleep. So from all these points of view, what is very that na jiva kanjit jayate. The jiva, what we call it as the jiva, who is there as we call the individual, it is never have taken birth. And there is no sambhavasya. There is no way it can even happen. Edat uttamam satyam yatra kinchit na jayate. This is the ultimate truth. Uttamam satyam. That yatra kinchit na jayate. There is absolutely no creation whatsoever. In reality, there is no creation at all. With this, he concludes his Ajadivada and he says that in the next verse, it is actually 72nd verse. Chittaspandidam eva idam grahya grahaka vadvayam chittam nirveshayam sat nityam asangam tena kirtidam. Grahya grahakavat. As if, the perceiver and the perceived. Idam dvayam, this duality which is there in the dream or in the waking. Chitta spandidam eva. It is the spandana or the pulsation of awareness alone. Awareness in the form of a antakarana. That is why my world is different, your world is different, everyone's world is different. Because the association, the awareness has not become the instrument of the indriyati. That is why in some of the Advaitic examples they say, the water in different pots appear to be shaking when it is shaken, we feel the moon inside the water is shaking. And the water next to that, which has not been shaken, the moon is still steady there. So in one pot it is shaking, the other pot it is not shaking. Moon is not the one which is shaking, or the sun which is reflected in the water. It is the water contained in the pot which is causing the movement of the sun or the moon. Same way, we should understand that Andhakaranam in the waking of whatever that is where we get confused between the Jiva is there, multiple Jivas are there, the shared reality, there are multiple creations, multiple Jivas. All those things are limited due to the Andhakaranam, and in the Andhakaranam when the Chitta Spandanam takes place, through which the reflection takes place. Because why it is said this way? Because the awareness that Satchitanandam, Atma, Turiya, Brahma has no intention, no relation to with anything what has happened, what's happening or what's going to happen or what happened now. It is due to the misapprehension of the quality of the Andhakarana, the resultant experiences are called as Jiva. Tena Chittam Nirveshayam. Therefore, this mind is in reality having no objects in it. The objects which is being projected by the mind is not a reality. The reason is that Nityam Asangam is the nature of awareness, and the Chittam, which is when it is not in motion or not in the Spandana, the thing, there is no projection, no subject, no object, no world of experiences, what we experience in our deep sleep. That is the reality of Nityam Asangam Kirtidam. That is the one with which it is all, we all should be knowing that is the reality. And now, here comes one more thing which he will go further. Yo asti kalpida samvritya paramapena nastyasau paradandra di samvritya sya nasti paramartada. Sa nasti sya nasti paramartada. Yaha kalpida samvritya. That objects or that experiences, kalpida samvritya, is an imagination during our experience of Vyavahara. Asti asau paramate. Is it really happening in the absolute reality? Na asti. It is not there in reality. Yaha, whichever the experiences or whichever the subject and object or anything, paratandravi samvritya, like that delusion of the transactional Vyavahara. Samvritya means Vyavahara. Paratandraya means by dependency on the learning which you have done from the other Upanishad or the other texts, which without understanding the reality, what is the reality of the creation, we depend upon, take the reality which is mentioned in the other Upanishad where the creation is real. Therefore, we think that those are real. So, na asti yaha paratandriya samvritya syat sa paramartada na asti. In the reality, they are not there. Absolutely, there is no way it can be there. So what that say, he is referring, he is in the Shankara in the Bhashya is referring to the Mandukya Karika which we studied. Tadetat Satyam, that is the second chapter, first Dvidiya Pratama Kanta, Dvidiya Dhyaya Pratama Kanta. Tadetat Satyam yada sudipta pavaka vispulinga sahasrasha prabhavante surupata tada akshara dvita soumya bhave prajayante tatra cha va abhiyante. O Saumya, O dear one, O pleasing one, this is the truth. Tadetat satyam. Just as from the blazing fire thousands of sparks of the same nature of the fire originate, in the same way Aksharam Brahma, varieties of jivas are born, again resolve back into the Aksharam Brahma only. Now when somebody hears this word from the Mandukya Upanishad, the second, the Mandukya Pratama Pada, first mantra, that feeling that, oh, Brahma is there, that Aksharam Brahma is there, one, then Vispulinga are the sparks coming out of that, like that from the Brahma, Paramatma, or the Turiya or Brahma, we are all Jiva who have come out from that. It will be the meaning, the literal meaning if we take it. Shankara says, but that should not stop there, because in the second immediate verse, what does the Upanishad say? The next mantra says that Divyo Hyamurta Purushaha Sabhahyabhyandaro Ajaha Aprano Hyamana Subra Hyacharat Parataparaha. What does it mean? This Brahman indeed is self-effulgent, like the fire, formless, pervades inside outside, and is birthless. The word is that birthless is used. So you have to understand that the word is amurta. There is amurtaha na bhahyabhyandaro jana aprano hyamana subra aksharat paradapara. And it is birthless, without prana or mind or any of those things, pure in its essence, and is beyond Maya, which is beyond the world, which is beyond to be understood. So in reality, the world has never been created. And if the feeling is there, the jiva has been created. Therefore, the jiva is not real. Ajatam, what Gaudapada is saying is what he is reaffirming. Therefore, the word Ajata. Now, in the 74th Karika, he says that even the word Ajata is a kalpana, is an imagination. Because only Janma asti, if there is a birth only, birthlessness can be talked about. Even the idea of birth itself is invalid in the Paramartha Avastha. Ajak kalpida samvritya paramarthena na pyaja. Paradandrabhi nishpatya samvritya jayate tusa. Ajaha, the unborn. Ajannitya Shashvatoyam, the Ajaha, the one which is unborn. Kalpida Samvritya. From the point of Vyavahara only we can talk about Aja and Janma Asti, Janma, Mrityu, Aja, all these words. Paramatena Aja Apina. In the reality, in the absolute reality, even Aja cannot have the word also have no locus standi or no way it can be even referred there, because there is no way the birth itself is accepted there to become the one without a birth. If you accept birth only, you can say the one without a birth. Means something else has got without birth, with birth. That way is not there. Paratandra nishpatya. Dependence on the other aspect, other mantras or other Upanishads which are talking about for the purpose of the earlier level of students, where the Siddhantas are being talking about creation. Yaha aja iti yuktasa samvritya jayate. This ajaha term which is used now here is due to the transactional requirement of the earlier Upanishads where the creation is being talked about. In absolute reality, Advaitam Paramartada, from the point of Advaita Purya Paramarta, Sa Bhahyabhyandara Ajaha, that Bhahyabhyandara Ajaha, that one which has no inside, no outside, Sarvam, which is Avyavaharyam, Alakshanam, Achintyam, Ekatma Pratyasaryam, Prapanchopasama. Prapanchopasama means when the world itself has not become there, what will you talk about Aja? Where will the Aja be located if the world itself is not there? So, Samvritya Jayade, it's only due to that confusion which is still in the mind To remove that, we have been keeping on telling Ajatavadam, Ajatavadam. But even Ajata, the word terminology, has no real meaning from the absolute point of view, where there is nothing other than the absolute. This is the Gaudabada's stand for when he says that even Aja, the word Ajatam is also not a reality. Only from the transactional point I have been telling this, because we have those listeners have got that idea about birth and death and everything. Therefore, to take you out of that, but from the point of view, when you see that the birth of the waker and the death of the waker, the birth of the dreamer, the birth of the death of the dreamer, and all those things are in absolutely, it's all appearances. In reality, there is nothing happening. From the point of view Sakshi, even the Sakshi word becomes invalid, because if unreal things, if you are watching, will you call it as you are witnessing an unreality? No, you cannot be. You are watching reality only, you can say you are a witness to it. Even the witness word, Sakshi or Ajam, all both the words in that there is no transactional word which can have any meaning in the absolute Paramartha. In the Parabrahma, in the Turiya Avastha, there is nothing which is available. We'll continue this in the next Wednesday, the remaining Karikas. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you. Dhanyawada.